Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Wolfie TV. And of course, this is the preview for Arsenal taking on Wolves. And surprisingly, this is two teams that have nothing to play for come the last game of the season, but apart from pride. Now, of course, if you had said that 10 games ago, you probably would have been very shocked. Obviously, Wolves heavily in a relegation battle at the time, Arsenal heavily in a title challenge. Thankfully for Wolves, we've managed to get out of the relegation battle. We've been safe for a couple of games now, and you could probably accuse maybe a couple of the players already being on the beach. You could probably throw similar accusations at Arsenal. For them, it obviously didn't finish the way that Arsenal fans would have wanted. Of course, Arsenal gunning for the title, but sadly, the Gunners came up just short. I think this is going to be a really interesting game just in terms of I think it's just going to depend on which team really is more up for it on the day. You know, there's always been a little bit for the past season or so, at least, because Wolves, don't remind me, we used to be competing with the likes of Arsenal at one point a couple of seasons ago, and even into the earlier stages of the previous season. There's been a little bit of bite between this game. The fans, players' comments as well. You know, it's made this game sometimes be a little bit fiery, which is a little bit weird at times. But it's just going to be interesting because I think it's going to be interesting to see if Arsenal are just going to be so downbeat. On the other hand, how much of the Wolves players are going to want to play as well. There's been a little bit of a weird feeling around Molineux the past couple of weeks. Maybe some players not being happy about being pushed out. Maybe some players who are going to stay, not being happy about seeing their friends not getting offered new deals. I do think it's time for a massive cleanup though, and I think Wolves are heading into one of our biggest summers. Talks of whether we're going to keep Lopetegui. He's getting a lot of interest from other places. Also, some talks about what our transfer budget is going to look like. I think the one probably decides the other. I think a poor transfer budget probably means that we don't get to keep Lopetegui. And by the end of the summer, we're either going to see a team which we're really confident of going for something much, much better than what we've done this season, or we're going to, I really feel, be in for quite a bleak season and possibly one that could be even worse than the one that we've witnessed. But for me, the game, you know, there's really not too much on it. But one thing that I do want to see, this man, he didn't get his game time. We talked about this last week. I thought it was an absolute disgrace that he didn't get to go on the pitch for 5 minutes. We saw how emotional he was about that. He deserves to start for me on Sunday, I should say. Sunday. He deserves to start. I'm going down to the Emirates, actually. I've actually been lucky enough to get a ticket on the ballot that they do, 5% of season of away tickets can go to a ballot for which season ticket holders can apply. Not been successful all season, but I am finally successful to go to an away game. I want this guy to start. He needs some kind of send-off, and I think he deserves to start, actually. He deserves the 60, 70 minutes that he's probably got in the tank, and I think he deserves that round of applause. And I don't think that round of applause would just come from the Wolves fans. I think you'd see it from the Arsenal fans as well. I think the Arsenal fans, they appreciate how tough a time it's been for Raul Jimenez. And of course, it did happen at the Emirates. Wouldn't it be such poetic justice if his time at Wolves, probably his time in English football and possibly even European football, finishes on a last high and he manages to grab a goal where things just changed so much for him? I really do hope that Lopetegui was genuine about his apology to Jimenez and makes it up to him by just start the guy. There is nothing on this game. Please just start him. Or even if you don't start him, just give him at least 30 minutes. I don't want a token 5 minutes. He deserves a chance to close the book. He deserves his chance, in my opinion, to be cheered off by the Wolves faithful and probably the Arsenal fans too. Of course, we also saw Adama Traore have a very good game last game. If he had scored that, he might have had to steal the goal of the season award off Núñez and take it from him and go, this is my goal of the season, because he did what we've seen Adama do at times. And I think the key word is at times, but he picks the ball up, drives past 3 or 4 players, nearly scores. Of course, Juan got the goal, but it was a superb match for him. Still some questions asked. I've seen in reports suggesting that he still may be open to a contract extension, but he is looking at his other options. I do think it will be his last game for Wolves, in general. And of course, we've got to mention a couple of other players. Pedro Neto apparently leaving the game. Of course, he wasn't on the pitch to say his goodbyes. He apparently was reportedly left around 40 minutes before kickoff. Who knows what's happening there? Matinho wasn't there, apparently requesting not to play. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I think it's going to be a huge shake-up, and I think a lot of us are just going to be really thankful to see this game over with and a focus moving on to next season and possibly what we can achieve, hopefully, under Lopetegui, and hopefully he will be given the transfer budget that he deserves. Guys, I've not really spent too much time talking about the game itself, mainly just because, as I said at the start of the video, there isn't a huge lot on it. In terms of predictions, it's been a pretty glum season, isn't it, for Wolves? It wouldn't surprise me if we did end up losing the final game of the season. I just hope we don't get battered. I'm going to go for a narrow win to Arsenal. I am going to back the home team, but I'm going to say 2-1. And I'm going to say the dream for me happens. Jimenez gets his goal and, he just gets the goodbye that he should have had in the final home game of the season. Guys, if you have enjoyed the video, as always, hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And also drop your predictions in the comments and just your thoughts on everything I've said in today's video. And hopefully I'll catch you on another video where we're going to be keeping you up to date with all transfer stuff, Wolves, all news Wolves. And we want to get some Wolves fans on over the summer to talk about the club because there's going to be a lot happening as well. So guys, let me know your thoughts always and I'll catch you in another video. Take care. Goodbye.